Hi, I'm Rachel, a resource expert and career coach for museum educators who are stretched thin but long to fall in love with their world-changing work. After over 15 years with my own hands in the glitter, I know how it feels when your board thinks your work is childish because you work with children. I know how hard it is to lead a tour on a difficult subject, and I know the frustration of waiting on a school bus that is 20 minutes late. Or worse, 10 minutes early. As I'm heading towards the second half of my career, I find myself with a passion to help my fellow educators reverse the chronic state of being overworked and underappreciated so that they can reclaim their creativity and emotional energy. Join me and my museum buddies as we share our best tips, tricks, and techniques for modern museum education.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Modern Museum Education Podcast. I'm your host Rachel, and this is day 3 of the 12 Days of Christmas Museum Education Edition, my holiday gift to the museum educator community. Over the next few days, I'll be releasing short podcast episodes stuffed with actionable tips to help you level up your museum education programs. So today we're talking about words that wow. How can you elevate your museum programs with magnetic marketing copy? Have you ever stumbled upon a program description that was so enticing it felt like it was calling your name? That is the magic of a well-crafted blurb. In the bustling world of museum education, where every exhibit and workshop and program and event are vying for the audience's attention, standing out is non-negotiable. So how do you transform your program from just another event on the calendar to the must-see experience of the season? Well, let's dive in to the art of writing blurbs and marketing copy that will turn heads and fill up rooms. So to be completely honest with you, when I first became a director of education, there were so many things that I didn't know. And how to write marketing copy was definitely one of those things. I had absolutely no idea how to write a program description that was both informative and also enticing, because I'm not a marketer. I don't come from a marketing background. I'm a historian and an educator. And I had absolutely no idea how to write short, to the point, enticing, and informative marketing copy to tell people what they would experience when they came to the program, why they should want to do it, to convince them to do it, and to fit all of that into 2 or 3, maybe 4 sentences. I literally had no clue where to start. So over the years, I learned how to do that. And I want to help you sort of jump to the end and not have to go through the long, windy journey of learning how to write marketing copy. So to start, the first thing that you need to understand is that a good program blurb, a good program description it's vital. It is so important. Imagine your program is like a rare jewel. A good blurb is not just about putting that jewel on display. It is about lighting it up so well that nobody can walk by without stopping to take a closer look. It is not just an introduction. It is your first and sometimes your only shot at convincing potential visitors that what you're offering is worth their time and attention. But before you put pen to paper, you need to ask yourself, who am I trying to reach? Understanding the audience for your program, just like how understanding the audience for your program is important before you write the program, understanding the audience for your program is important when you're actually writing the marketing copy. Are you targeting parents who are looking for educational outings for their kids? Are you targeting teens who are interested in an after-school experience? Are you targeting teachers who are trying to convince their principal that they need the bus on Friday? Each demographic has its own desires and pain points, and tailoring your message means speaking directly to what excites that person, using language that they resonate with, and addressing why your program is the solution that they didn't know they needed. So what you need to do when you're writing marketing copy for your programs is to use the same tools that marketers use when they're convincing you to buy something. So let's talk about the anatomy of an effective blurb. A compelling blurb has a few key ingredients. The first is that it offers a clear value proposition. It states the main benefit of the program, right? So like in the same way that if you were going to, okay, so it's December, right? January is coming. New Year's resolutions. So if you want to go back to the gym in January, you're going to be really susceptible to marketing messages that promise to build muscle or boost your metabolism or peak your performance. So in the same way, your marketing copy for your program needs to specifically call out the main benefit, not just what people are going to do, but the benefit that they're going to get. Secondly, it needs to have intriguing details. You need to briefly highlight some key features that set your program apart. These are details that paint a vivid picture of the experience. And lastly, a compelling blurb uses concise language. Keep it short, to the point. It needs to be impactful and grab attention really quickly. So you want to think about writing a blurb as telling a very short story where your program is the hero. What challenge does it help the audience overcome? How are they going to be transformed in the end? And most importantly, why should they even care? So sometimes when you're writing a blurb, depending on where the blurb is going to be used and the platform that it's going to be on, and we'll talk about this in a second, you might have a little bit more space. And if you have some space, really leverage those first few sentences. They can be make or break. You might consider starting with a question or a statement that sparks curiosity. So for example, you might say, have you ever wondered how dinosaurs would interact with today's technology? Suddenly, that's very attention grabbing. Someone who has never pondered time-traveling dinosaurs might be like, ooh, time-traveling dinosaurs. I'm interested in that, right? Okay, so that's kind of a ridiculous example, but the point is, what can you hook the audience with? Try to work that in, especially at the very beginning, okay? Because that's where you're going to catch their attention. The next thing you really need to keep in mind is that a good blurb conveys value and excitement. Here is where you're going to gush about what makes your program fantastic. Is it a hands-on experiment with rocket science? Is it an immersive journey through an ancient civilization? Highlight the unique selling points and the benefits. Make sure to weave in the emotional appeal. After all, remember, people don't buy tickets to events. They invest in experiences that promise joy, knowledge, awe, social interaction, time with their family. Remember that people pay for the feeling that they want. They pay for the experience they intend to have. So don't always focus on what they're going to learn. Focus on what they're going to feel. Focus on what they're going to experience. When you're writing a blurb for a museum education program, you really want to use strong, engaging verbs that convey excitement and purpose, while at the same time clearly outlining the program's goals and activities. So you only have a few words. You need to make every word count for as much as possible. So let me give you a list of some excellent verbs to consider, and I sort of categorized them by the program type or experience. So for example, if it was just an educational program, so you're going to learn something, don't just learn. You might promise to engage or explore or discover, maybe investigate or participate or examine. If your program is more creative or interactive, consider using words like create, design, experiment, build, craft, develop. If your program is more storytelling, or maybe they're going to witness a performance of some kind, you might use words like listen, but you might also use words like imagine or experience. If the program is exploratory in some way, maybe it's a tour or something along those lines, you might use words like journey or roam, like, roam across the galleries or something like that. Uncover, navigate, view, encounter. If the program's goal is a social event or community program, try words like connect, collaborate, share, celebrate. Or for special events or one-of-a-kind exhibits, you might, again, go back to words like experience or join us, witness, and marvel are two of my favorites. Now, The choice of verb that you use depends on your program's tone and the audience and, of course, the actual program elements, but focusing on action-oriented language will make your blurb more compelling. The next thing I want to mention is that inclusivity is not just a nice thing to do, it is essential. So make sure that you're using language that welcomes everyone, regardless of their background or their ability level. You want to avoid jargon or terms that might confuse newcomers, or avoid specific references that might alienate people who don't know what you're talking about. Remember, the goal is to make every person who comes across this program description feel like this program was designed with them in mind. And remember, not all platforms speak the same language. So if you're going to put your marketing copy on social media, that caption should probably be snappy and direct, while an email allows for more storytelling. You need to be prepared to adapt your core message accordingly without losing the essence. And one thing that I learned the hard way over years and years is the importance of always including a call to action. So make sure that you end your marketing copy with an invitation, whether it's book now or learn more or join us. Make sure that you tell your audience exactly what the next step that they should take is. And lastly, once you've put your marketing copy out into the world, keep tabs on how it's performing. Which phrases bring in the most crowds? What falls flat? Gather insights to help you refine your future marketing copy, making every blurb more effective than the last. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute to subscribe, like, leave a review. It helps other museum educators to find this resource. And as always, if you have questions, are looking for some coaching opportunities, or want to be a guest on the show, visit modernmuseumeducation.com for more information. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 4 of the 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us. If this episode has been helpful to you or interesting, please take a minute to like, subscribe, and leave a review, which will help other museum educators find this resource. As always, if you would like to work with me more directly, have any questions, or would like to be a guest on the podcast, you can find links to all that and more on my website, modernmuseumeducation.com. I'll see you back here next time, and in the meantime, please remember that your work is not childish just because you work with children.